Hi, gorgeous lights. Welcome to the new day. It just really was having this really interesting discussion with Spirit actually about human behaviour, to be perfectly honest, as well, because we do have a tendency, and this is what they were talking about, to do with where we can actually end up pedestalising someone because we actually believe that they have a behaviour that you can actually be. Aspire to and look up to. And we quite often hear people say, particularly in this kind of new age thing, where people say, I aspire to be more spiritual. And Spirit are really, really interesting about this because they actually keep asking us right at the moment to aspire to be more human, basically. And in order to be more human, they tell us it's really important that we honour and understand human emotions in the way that we are actually supposed to be. Now, and we're in some really, really complex energies right at the moment, and what I love about complex energies is it does what Spirit calls passion rising. So passion rising says, what am I really passionate about? What do I want to talk about? Where I want to feel heard. Now, if you've elevated a person to onto a platform, and we can do this with doctors and politicians and public speakers and all sorts of things, then we can actually sit in the seat of judgment in ourselves and go, they shouldn't behave like that, or they need to behave differently. And I think along the way here, and this is what I was talking to Spirit about, was forgetting that people have an infinite amount of human emotions. We can get triggered. It doesn't matter what meat suit you're trundling around in. You will have issues, insecurities, all of those sorts of things, opinions. And it's really important to actually try not to kind of judge people really, really harshly when they actually do step up and actually say, well, I don't agree with that, or I think differently from you. Yes, you do. We've all got different bits of Play-Doh up here, and we all look at things different way. And I love, 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 love the way that Spirit summed it up this afternoon, as they said to me, that you are unique as your fingerprints. So we know that every single human being on the planet has a different set of fingerprints in any one shape or form. And sometimes honouring that people are different from us is one of the really hardest things to do, because human beings really like a sense of belonging. And Spirit was saying that this is kind of like the biggest test that's going on right at the moment as well, because there's multiple scenarios going on at different levels which will require us to find some unity. Now, because we're as unique as our fingerprints, it's really, really hard for us to unify a lot of the times, because we get caught up in our human emotions of what needs to be right, what is wrong, what's fair, what's unfair. And it takes a tremendous amount, Spirit says, of humility to actually, it doesn't not recognise you're right or wrong or anything, but humility says I have the ability to emotionally sit back and actually sit in my humbleness and see that person is entitled to another opinion, or that person's entitled to actually have free speech and say what they want to say as well. And certainly the reason why I was having this discussion with them today is that, in my own world, I think people do forget that the human part of you actually does have an opinion about some things, and while you can completely honour, and I try to, honour somebody else's point of view as well, it doesn't change the fact that you can get really passionate about a cause. I'm really, really passionate about humanity, really, really passionate about that, but I'm also very, very passionate about accountability as well. In taking accountability for actions, all of those sort of things is actually something that's really, really important. Now, Spirit, when I talked to them about this, they were so fascinating, because I was saying, think about how awkward and how confronting it is to actually look at when you do something and you do get it wrong, like you put your foot in it with someone when you're talking to them, or you inadvertently make a comment before you thought about what it actually sounds like. And we have to sit in the uncomfortableness of actually being a little bit humble and going, you know what, I so could have worded that differently, weathering through the reactions from the other person as it triggers them in their own environmentals as well, and their personal issues and insecurities. So we're absolutely complex, is a point that I'm actually getting to in the discussion that I had with Spirit, was you know, you can be spiritual, you can be agnostic, you can be whatever you like when it comes to all these side of things. The bottom line is you are going to feel and run the gauntlet of human emotions. And I do think in this big frequency that we've got going on, and it's a change frequency, it's an understanding frequency, there is moments of clarity, there's moments of non-clarity. We're in a constantly evolving situation right at the moment as well. And I'm really, really mindful that it is triggering me as much as it triggers everybody else as well. And you can, for a very long period of time, sit in the seat of compassion or sit in the seat of empathy, and then once you've brushed up against a boundary where something has overstepped your boundary or triggered you into a point, then we're going to run the full gauntlet of human emotions. We're 100% going to do that. Now, Spirit has said, in this moments, we caution you to remember unity, which I absolutely love, because unity says I don't have to 100% agree with you, but I do have to acknowledge that we're actually in this together. And I do think, you know, this is I love what Spirit said there, it's a very pointy-fingered time. It's everybody's pointing fingers at everybody else. And they said, please do remember that every time that you are pointing a finger at somebody else, there is actually 3 fingers pointing straight back at you. And I do think that, you know, we are being illuminated right at the moment, the way that Spirit shows it to me, where we have a deep, deep craving for honesty, a deep, deep craving for integrity, and a big, big craving for humility, the ability to hold space for other people while they evolve and grow. And no one, not one person, is going to actually get this right in this energy right at the moment. And I probably shouldn't be laughing, but Spirit does have a tendency to make things really quite light-hearted at times, because they said in your drive and your intention of wanting to correct a situation or fix a situation without allowing it to evolve in a way that gives opportunities for change or opportunities for understanding, then you are rushing a process. And they're very, very mindful of the impatience that is on the planet at the moment. We have a lot of people trying to backtrack. We fight to hold on, we fight to let go to the life that they thought that they had before. We have a lot of people very, very scared, which is concerning me massively, and making me realise how much people fear death. They really, really do, which makes us strive forward in a very powerful way to try and correct the situation and control the situation. So that's all happening as well. And then we have other people. The word that Spirit gives me, which I absolutely love, is also penduluming one side to the other side, with gaps in between, they keep telling me as well. So, you know, we can have a day where we think, yep, I'm absolutely sorted with this, I'm just going to, you know, mind my own mill pond, throw the stones in it that I want to, and then we can have another day where we want to get loud, is what they actually said to me as well. So I kind of really understand that, and it's really important, they're saying, to remember your unity, remember you're all in it together, remember that you'll have good days, bad days, funk days, wonderful days, and actually surrender to the fact that there's an evolving process with where we're actually going, because we are entering the age of unity as well. And human beings, and I have watched this happen over the years, when they unify in the best possible way, then they can cause the best possible outcomes as well. And we have a very divided camp right at the moment, right across the whole board, and with people wanting other people to take accountability. I do. I'm a normal human being as well. We do actually have to sit in a little bit of humility and understanding that no process can be rushed at this period of time as well. So Spirit kind of just really wanted to leave you with this little colour snippet to consider, but also this as well. They said, ever be mindful. Ever be mindful that your evolutionary state is as unique as your fingerprints. That your evolutionary state will change on a minute by hour basis. And that the person that you will find the most confronting is your own self, your own emotional state. Try not to whack other people with it, which is very tempting in this energy. And they said, please employ mindfulness. Mindfulness that, you are all the same, and you are they have the same batch of problems in a different format depending on where you're actually at as well. And they said the other thing is be well. Be well in yourself in both body, mind, and spirit, because the frequency that we're actually emanating at the moment is also crucial to the collective consciousness. So we in so many ways, I just keep illuminating, we're connected, we're doing this together, we're to do that. But it's perfectly perfect the way that it actually is, to actually let it be an evolutionary state. There is people finding their voices all over the place. There's people that have had enough. There's the people that are leaving the earth plane sadly as well. But at the end of the day, it's all parcel of us being here. Find your moments of joy, is what they said to me just before as well, and put your focus on the things that reap what they call positive rewards towards you. And random acts of just being kind for kindness sake, because we're inherently like that, all push us together to head us towards unity as well. So it really is something to consider, and I'm, as ever, truly grateful that they take the time sometimes to get me to slow down while I'm having an emotional wobbly, and remind me of the things that are actually truthfully really important as well. Mindfulness is a big one. Kindness, compassion, humility, empathy, they're bringing out all the big ones, and they bring out all the situations that push us to get to these levels. So we are in evolutionary spiritual growth in ourselves as well. We need to deeply honour that, and we need to deeply honour each other's journey to do with it. So please take care of you. Remember to be a little bit humble when you're dealing with other people, and above all, keep being gorgeously you. Don't let anybody else define who you need to be to turn up for you. You're allowed it, and you're going to run the gauntlet of emotions every single day, and that's okay too. Just take your time. Take care of you. Shine on.